Hi, I'm Ellen from the Chili Dog. Today I am working on my Cereus sweater and I'd like to show you how to do the lifted purl increases, both right and left, that are used to shape the yoke of the sweater. Whenever I create lifted increases, I like to think of the columns of stitches as generations. The new stitches I'm making on my needle in a row or around are the children. The stitches I'm working into are the parents, and the stitches below that are the grandparents. Lifted increases are always worked into the grandparents. Let's get started. When the new increase stitch is placed to the right of the column that you're going to be working into, it's known as a lifted right increase. Because I'm working into a column of purl stitches, it's a lifted right purl. The new stitch I'll form at the top of the column will be my child stitch. So the stitch that's currently on my left hand needle is known as the parent, and the purl bar that's below that belongs to the grandparent. That's the one I need to work into. So I'm going to insert my right needle tip from the bottom to the top, up through that purl bar of the grandparent, and I'm going to slip it onto my left needle without twisting the stitch. Because the stitch has a reverse mount and the leading leg of the stitch is at the back of the needle instead of the front of the needle, I am going to purl into the back leg of the stitch. So I'll work my purl, drop that lifted stitch off the needle, and now I have an increased stitch on my right needle that's coming out of the same lower grandparent stitch as the parent stitch that's on my left needle. Now I can continue purling across the rest of my work here. When the new increase stitch is placed to the left of the column you just finished working, it's known as a lifted left increase. And because I'm working into a column of purl stitches, it's a lifted left purl. The stitch I just formed is the child. The first purl bump below that child belongs to the parent, and the next purl bump below that belongs to the grandparent. So that's the one we're going to work our stitch into. So I'll insert my left needle tip from the bottom to the top, up through that grandparent's purl bar. This time the stitch has a conventional stitch mount, so I'll go ahead and purl it through the front loop just like I normally would, and drop the lifted stitch off of my needle. And now it's a little bit harder to see, but the increase stitch is coming out of the same lower grandparent stitch as the previous parent. After the increase is made, I can continue knitting in my pattern. I hope you enjoyed learning how to make both the lifted right and lifted left purl increases. If you did, make sure to give this video a thumbs up and share it with your friends. If you'd like to try this increase in a pattern, head over to the shop section of thechillydog.com and look for my Cereus sweater. Until we stitch again, happy knitting!